don't know why they always have to fight. Surely they could settle their differences like the fully grown adults that they are. It's pathetic. We loved fighting games back in the 90s, didn't we? Yeah, they were great. Being up all those little pixelated people, we couldn't get enough of it. All the fun of causing bodily harm, with none of the consequences. Who could say fairer than that? But soon that wasn't enough. We began beating up digitized people. And that was great fun too, because digitized people are pretty much real people, aren't they? Real people shrunk down for a video game. It's like magic. You'd even catch people like Jackie Chan doing it, being digitized for video games. And the great thing was, you could beat him up too. Everybody was fair game. But like a good cup of tea, we had a thirst for more. Tea. Soon we'd moved on to the third dimension. Now we were beating up polygonal beings. And we all loved that too, because who wouldn't like causing pain in a whole new dimension? A whole new way to fulfill our salacious need to beat people up. And along the way, the polygons got smaller, and we got more of them. And the people began to look that bit more real, which was great for us. We'd never had it so good. But then soon, everybody thought they could make fighting games. I mean, why not? They were so popular. Do you want to know what else was popular in the 90s? Biscuits. Oh, and Star Wars. There were only 3 of them at the time. And we liked it that way. And it was only a matter of time, wasn't it? Until they combined our 2 favourite things, Star Wars and fighting, to make a Star Wars fighting game. But instead of calling it something like Star Wars the Fighting Game, they called it Star Wars Masters of Teras, because they were always on about that in the Star Wars, weren't they? Teras. But at least it had all your favourite characters in it. You know, the ones like Han Solo, Luke, Leia, and even Chewbacca. But it didn't have Lando in it, did it? No, it's like they'd forgotten about Lando. You never get to play as Lando, do you? He just has to go on alone, unplayed and unloved. Well, at least you get to slice people up with your lightsaber. Much like I'm slicing up this nice piece of cheese. Because that's how lightsabers work, isn't it? We all remember that bit in Star Wars, where they're all in the cantina, having a bit of a drink. And that guy says something like, "Oh, I don't like you, you're rubbish and you should stop making videos," or something, I don't know. And then he pushes Luke over, doesn't he? And Obi-Wan says, "No, you can't say that. That's out of order, that is. I'm going to cut your arm off in retaliation with my lightsaber, for that is the way of the Force." And he only goes and does it, doesn't he, the maniac? He chops that alien's arm off like it was nothing. You think you'd be able to do that in the game, but you can't. No, it's less of a lightsaber, more of a light baton, as you hit people with it, slowly bludgeoning them to death. Which is all well and good when you're fighting evil estranged fathers or weird pig alien men. But when it gets to the point where you're fighting your own sister, repeatedly bludgeoning her with your lightsaber till she ceases to live, that's when you've gone too far, isn't it? That's when you think to yourself, why was I fighting my sister in the first place? Surely we could have solved this amicably. But it's too late now. It's too late to solve these sibling problems. When you've murdered your own sister. What's worse is, in the heat of the moment, it seemed like the right thing. I mean, everyone else was fighting, weren't they? Even best friends were fighting. You just thought you'd go along with the crowd, do what everyone else was doing, and cause pain and suffering to your loved ones. But you never thought it'd end like this, with blood on your hand.